G'day everyone, Alex McKellar here. I'm collaborating with one of the premier skip drivers on the planet, in Christian Perez, to bring you an English language adaptation of the lap guide that Christian produces for the Infinite Racing Services, also known as iRS. You can check out this and all the other hot laps, guides and setups over at www.infiniteracings.com, or check them out at Infinite Racing Services on Twitter. For now, though, I'll preface this guide with what I usually do in saying that I'm not a skippy driver. I'm not a driving instructor or a real-life driver at all. I am a skippy driver on iRacing, but the difference between this and other lap guides that I've done in the past is that we have the amazing benefit of having the lap of a world-class skippy driver to go through. Christian is one of the elite drivers in this category, a former 2K Cup champion, and honestly one of the best overall drivers of the Skip Barber cars. To have the opportunity to go through his lap is a real privilege, and I hope I can do them justice. Okay, so this week we are going to be at Belle for round 4 of season 1 2022, and to begin with, let's take a look at Christian's lap at full speed. Alright, so we'll grab the cockpit view, go to his fastest lap, and hang on for the ride. We'll go back a little bit so we can see the start of it, and let's enjoy the lap. All right, folks, there you have it. That's the lap. Let's go back and break it down. Just make sure I've got the right one. Okay, so let's put up some telemetry as well, just to make life a bit easier. Okay, so Belle Isle, as you're probably well aware, is a street circuit, and so one of the great features here, if you can call it that, is the walls, and you have to be very, very committed here, and you'll notice straight away at the start of Christian's lap. So realistically, it's the run out of the final corner at it's actually the third last corner at turn 12, where you get on the gas for the last time, that leads you to the maximum speed across the start finish line into turn 1. But we'll take a look at that at the end of the lap. But at the start, we're at full throttle in 5th gear, and what you notice straight away is how close Christian is to the outside wall, and that's what I mean about commitment. So flat out in 5th gear on the approach to turn 1 and 2, this sort of sweeping chicane, for want of a better term. And as we progress through, we're just past the 300 board that you can see there on the left, where you're looking to lift and turn in. You're changing down trying to hit this apex here. You can see the counter steer there, which is indicating the sort of speed that Christian's carrying through here. And he goes down the one gear, and you can see the little grate coming up. If you follow the little notch in the center of the car, the center of the bonnet of the car, you can see the little grate there ahead of you. And you see by the time Christian's back to that grate, he's on full throttle. And it's full throttle from here through to the end of the next straight, which is the primary passing opportunity here. So there's a little bit of compromise on the exit of this corner here, because you're really trying to maximize exit speed out of turn 2, the following corner, because you've got a very long straight afterwards and a very key passing opportunity. So the better you get the exit here, the better your chances are at the end, whether it's defending or attacking. So through here, when I talk about compromising, traditionally with a right-hand corner, you'll track out to the far left-hand side. But when you compromise a corner, it means you don't carry as much speed through the first corner here at turn 1, so that you can open up and stay a little bit further to the right to open up turn 2. You can see he's only coming to about mid-track here and then turning in. So it's a little bit of compromise of the first corner. So you've got the open run into the second corner, carrying full throttle back from that grade on the apex of turn 1. Now along here is where you'll find your primary passing opportunity, and you'll have to think about practicing different lines through here, narrow and wide lines here. So ideally on your own, you're over all the way on the left here. However, it's not uncommon to see 2 and even 3 wide on the entry into turn 3 here, which is again the primary passing opportunity here. So on our own though this time, and we're going to go full throttle down to about the 300 board, and you can see that just at the top of your screen on the left. At that 300 board, you're looking to really have quite a heavy braking zone, and down you can see there all the way up to sort of 65-70% brake down into second gear. Now early in a race you might take this in first gear. In fact, in traffic throughout, you might think about taking this in first gear to use the additional engine braking. But on your own here, as you can see, Christian's coming into his turn-in point, and you can see the little bit of counter steer here. That's how hard he's braking. It's the car is on the edge of control the whole way through. But Christian's carrying second gear through here to maximize the through speed of the corner, or the mid-corner speed. Turns in at the 100 board. Now, what I found very interesting when studying this lap is Christian doesn't ride the ripple strips too much, which is quite interesting. A lot of people will take a lot more curb through there than Christian. He's really only just kissing that apex, and you can see here how early he commits to full throttle. He's on full throttle before even getting to the blue and white curbing on the right, which is very, very important. It's not really an overtaking zone through here traditionally. However, having said that, the battle can continue through this primary passing opportunity at turn 3 into turn 4. So maximising your speed on exit is well, it's a good idea out of every corner, but here in particular at this track. So on full gas before the apex and running, letting the steering open out and using all of the exit curbing there. This spot here on the exit is probably where one of the few spots and the most likely that you will invalidate your lap, whether it be in quali or any other stage, because you kiss the grass on the outside and pick up a 1x. It's not easy to do at this track, but this is certainly one place that you can do it. As we come up to turn 4, we're up to third gear, and we're actually going to stay in third gear. Now the key here is you might want to pick your own reference here, whether it be the black and the white on the left, or is usually my preference. But a lot of this might just be by feel, and you can and one of the key lessons there is to look up and spot your apex, because often spotting your apex will give you the best sense of when you're going to turn in. Staying in third gear here, and again, not riding much of this ripple strip. You can ride a fair bit of this ripple strip. You can see Christian's really only just kissing it. You can actually get a wheel on the grass there without picking up a 1x. However, you've got to balance that with a little bit of unsettling of the car and potentially not getting on the gas as early. But you can see Christian's committing to full throttle just as we're hitting that grade again at the apex there. Now, interestingly, it looks here like he might just kiss the wall a little bit, but this track can be deceptive in so much as with netcode and what have you, it can look like you've kissed the wall, but quite often the car around you hasn't. Just be aware of that, because it can be unsettling to see a car apparently hit a wall, but in reality they haven't. So, but again, it's showing the full commitment here, and when it comes to using all the track here, you've got to be right on it, because to be fast around here, you're going to be very close to walls all the time, pretty much. All right, so coming down now to turn 5, we move over to the right-hand side. And again, you're kind of going to do this by feel. There is a pole there, a light pole that you can see on the right. You might be able to use that as a reference, but for me, I always look to spot the apex and use that as my reference, or alternatively, the wall on the right-hand side opens out a little bit as it approaches the red and white paint on the right-hand side. That can be a decent reference as well. It won't be a marker as in a specific point, but it's a reference that you can use to judge where you want to brake and turn in. So we're still in third. We're going to brake lightly. You can see it's only about 30%, I'm going to say, maybe 35. And it's really just slowing the car a fraction and then using the braking to help rotate the car. You're down into second gear here. And again, this is one apex curbing that you don't want to hit here. Some of them are very big and will really upset the car quite significantly. And this is one of them. So avoid hitting this curb. And you can see Christian doesn't really, he goes very close to it, as you should do, but doesn't go anywhere near it. And again, full throttle well before the apex, or what you might consider the apex, and when he's opening up the wheel from there. Now you can move right over to the right again, full commitment here. You're on full throttle, full commitment, just picking the right line there to make sure that you maximize the track on exit. You can see though that the wall does come towards you and closes in on you a bit, and your track out point is really on that bend where the wall gets to be its closest to you. Then quickly over as we approach turn 6. Now turn 6 is probably the second most important corner after turn 1 and turn 2, that if you call that one sort of complex, because it has probably the longest straight. We're coming up to the Strand Drive straight here at turn 6. It's not as good a passing opportunity as turn 3, but it is the second best on the circuit typically. So all the way over to the left, we've had a short run in third gear. We're going to brake. Again, you're going to pick your marker. Typically, I use the signage on the right there, because I can do a quick assessment or a judgment based on where that signage is as to where I want to tap the brakes and start turning in. But it also gets my eyes in the right spot for the apex, spotting the apex as well. So down into second gear, very, very light touch on the brakes. You can see only, maybe 20% at most. And realistically, you're just trying to carry a lot of speed here, and importantly, start getting on the gas. You can see already Christian's starting to get on the gas, and we haven't even got a car length or 2 car lengths before the apex. Opens up the wheel a little bit and then hard in. And you can see he's just carrying that trailing bit of throttle to keep the rear in check, and then full throttle once he's through. Possibly, now I don't want to criticise here, but maybe turn in a fraction later. You can see it's quite an early turn in from Christian there. And that might allow you to get on the throttle a bit earlier, but still, you can't argue with the time on the board. So I'm not going to criticise too much. But again, quite extensive usage of the track on exit as well. You can see very committed through that section. And again, this is where you may have a passing opportunity if you get the exit of turn 6 right. Now, this very challenging little complex coming up around the fountain. So, on the approach now to turn 7, a good braking reference is this Corvette bridge and around the 300 marker. And you can see the track actually opens out to the left before you take the right-hand corner at turn 7. Again, this is a passing opportunity. It's one that's a little bit trickier, certainly, than turn 3. It's the second, probably most common passing opportunity on the track. Now you can see just as he comes under the bridge there, or the signage, onto the brakes. And it's quite a heavy braking zone. Again, you can see right up near full braking there. So what's that, about 90% at least. So you can see this is the heaviest braking zone on the circuit, and why it is, as a threshold braking zone, a good passing opportunity as well. But you can see, as I said, the track opens out. There's a curvature in that wall on the outside. It opens out to the left. And so think about positioning your car over to the left as well. Now, in between the 300 and the 200 board, start as you approach the 200 board here, thinking about reducing your brake and trailing into the apex at turn 7. So as you come off the brake, you're using that trail to leave a bit of weight at the front of the car and get the rotation you need to make the corner. Now, Christian's carrying an awful lot of speed here, so he's counter-steered a little bit, maybe turned in a fraction too early. This is a curb that you can ride though, and you can see hitting the apex here literally means hitting the apex. And you can see Christian takes a high amount of curb there and tracks all the way out again. Very brave here on exit. Now we're coming down into the 3 left-handers of 8, 9 and 10. You may still be sorting out side by side down into this zone. I would suggest that by the next corner at turn 8, you need to have it sorted. So as you come under the bridge again, moving all the way over to the right, and we're going to stay in second gear. Now, first gear is an option here, particularly early on in a stint, or if you feel like you're not carrying the mid-corner speed and you want the drive out. However, Christian here shows another approach, which is to carry second gear, which is equally as valid, particularly if you're able to carry that additional speed. So we're looking to brake only a fraction. When I say a fraction, about 50%. Just realistically, you can use the edge of the wall on the left if you want to use the left-hand side of the road, or you're sort of judging it by spotting your apex in conjunction with where the wall on the right encroaches out the most, just to pick your turn-in point and line it up with your braking. Again, not a curb that you want to hit here on the inside. It's very high and it will unsettle you, and chances are it'll spit you out into the wall here. This is about as close as you want to get to this wall. Again, very brave. However, this wall has a bit of a bug in it, and it will eat your right rear suspension for lunch every day of the week. You can kiss a lot of the walls here. This is not one you want to touch at all. It will rip your rear suspension off as soon as it looks at it. All right, so we're just going to be carrying full throttle through here. This section around the fountain at turn 8, 9, and now through 10. We're just going to lift to get the rotation we need just in between 9 and 10. And again, you don't want to kiss the curbing here on the left-hand side. What you're thinking about is that apex up the right-hand side ahead of us there. You really want to position your car well as you come into the braking zone here under the Continental Bridge. So as we approach that bridge, on comes the brakes, and you can see the car is positioned over to the left-hand side of the track to open up what is the slowest corner on this Belle circuit. So it's braking, and you can see here in a straight line, which is important. The wheel is very straight until you trail off and then turn in. You can see, again, this is another curb that you do not want to hit, but full throttle very early on. You can see before the apex, we're on full throttle, but we don't kiss that curb. Opens the wheel up a little bit and all the way out near the wall. Just watch the protruding black part of the barrier there before it opens out just that little bit further, and you can ride it all the way out to the wall. So we get up to 4th gear on the run into this very important turn 12, because turn 12 is the last time you take your foot off the gas before the finish line. And this is probably the 3rd spot that you might get a passing opportunity, and certainly maybe manufacture one before the start finish line, particularly in the closing stages of a race. So we're going to come down to the 200 board. And as we approach the 200 board, we're going to lift, drop down into 3rd gear. You can see the braking there is only, 45%, I'm going to say, and using the braking to steer the car. Again, quite an early turn in, meant a little bit of counter steering and adjustment, and then full throttle well before the apex. Again, this is another curb that you don't want to touch. If you touch this one, you will bounce off more often than not and hit the wall on the outside just before that bridge, that signage over the top. But again, from here, you don't take your foot off the gas. Once the tyres are up, don't take your foot off the gas until the start-finish line. Full commitment on exit as well. Again, you can see how close to the wall Christian is. That's what you're aiming for. And really, it's a short turnaround. Once you've tracked out, you're really looking to spot your apex at turn 13 here as you come onto Sunset Drive, because it's as soon as you're out, you're looking to turn back in again, and again, it's flat. Do not touch this curb here as well. That one will push you out as well into the wall. Unsettle the car if nothing else, costs you time and potentially push you out into the wall. And again, full commitment, as you can see. Good reference there, I always find, is having the tyres on the outside of that black line that you can see inside the guard barriers. I know if I've done a good lap, then my tyres just to the left of it. And that, as we come through the sweeping final bend there at 14, is a lap at Belle Isle. So that one was a 1:41.6, which is fairly flying around here, if I'm honest. It's very fast. So there you have it, folks. That's a lap of Belle Isle with Christian Perez for Infinite Racing Services. Again, you can check out Infinite Racing Services. Hang on, I'll just turn off these overlays. There we go. You can check out Infinite Racing Services at www.infiniteracings.com or at Infinite Racing Services on Twitter. Other than that, folks, I hope you've enjoyed it. I'm Alex McKellar in conjunction with Christian Perez for Infinite Racing Services. And until next time, ciao for now.